Jake Paul's California mansion has been raided by the FBI, multiple news organizations report. You can see in this aerial footage agents in uniform outside his home in Calabasas.
You know what's funny about your brother? Your brother talks more shit than anybody else on the planet. They're trying to sue people when people talk shit. There's people out there saying they're fake fights, they're fixed.
You know, for me, in my opinion, I think it's scripted a little bit because, you know, of the weight difference, and, you know, Joshua's a former, you know, champion. And also, you know, he's current, he's active.
That was not a boxing match. Jake Paul had a very healthy fear for his life while he was in there. He was running away. He was trying to get distance. Then he was trying to step in to win this contest. And then he's trying to get out of the way so that he doesn't get hurt again.
Once again, Jake Paul finds himself at the center of a growing storm that could threaten the future of his controversial boxing career. New allegations claiming Paul scripted several high-profile fights, including the blockbuster Netflix bout with Anthony Joshua, have ignited online backlash. Some corners of social media have gone as far as suggesting he and his brother faced arrest over these claims. Promoters and officials have firmly denied that professional bouts can be prearranged without serious legal consequences, yet skepticism surrounding Paul's legitimacy has reached a boiling point. It marks another dramatic chapter for a figure already linked to past legal controversy, including an FBI raid on his Calabasas home. As accusations mount and his credibility faces unprecedented scrutiny, many now ask whether this could be the end of Jake Paul's meteoric rise.
FBI agents have raided the Southern California home of YouTube star Jake Paul. Federal officials say the search was part of an investigation. Wendy Birch is in Calabasas with what we're learning tonight.
Sky 5 was overhead this morning as federal agents entered Jake Paul's Calabasas home located in this gated community off of Mulholland Highway. We counted close to 24 federal agents, some of them in tactical gear, entering the residence. Why they were here and what they were looking for, that remains unclear. The federal search warrant has been sealed and no one is offering any additional information.
For years, boxing analysts, former fighters, and promoters have questioned the credibility of Jake Paul's fights long before recent arrest rumors emerged. From carefully chosen past-their-prime opponents to unusual pacing, late knockdowns, and contracts rumored to include restrictive clauses, critics argue his rise has appeared manufactured rather than earned.
Because I've always been curious about this, because, like, you know, you saw the Askren fight, we saw these fights that he went into. The Fury one obviously didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go, just because I was so convinced that, like, Jake had these fights fixed, and there's a lot of people who talk about the fights being fixed because it's just the way it is.
Yeah, they tell me that too. They're like, tell me you're not going to take a fall against Paul. Everybody says that to me. I'm like, are you kidding me? You couldn't pay me all the money in the world to fall on anybody.
Veteran voices in boxing have long argued that while Jake Paul brings attention and money to the sport, his matchups often steer clear of real competitive danger. That pattern has fueled suspicions that outcomes are designed to protect a brand rather than test true skill. As doubts continue to build, each new controversy adds to a growing narrative that Paul's boxing journey has relied more on optics, leverage, and control than on the unpredictable brutality that defines the sport.
Blink twice if that Jake Paul fight was set up.
What happened to me is what was going to happen to him had he dropped those hands. If I say, Rampage, I'm going to pay you $2 million, right? Let this dude beat you, what you going to do? You're going to feel disrespected, number one. Right? That ain't enough money. For me to do that, I got to be willing to walk away for good. Something like 20-something million where I can invest it and fall off in the shade, because that's what you will have to do.
In the past, the fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul once drew massive attention for its drama and intensity. Online frenzy followed rumors of a leaked script suggesting the bout was pre-planned. Alleged audio recordings fueled claims that key moments, including Tyson's apparent fatigue before Paul's knockout, were staged.
High school graduate in the United States is $1.3 million. Again, that's over the course of the person's entire life. Jake Paul earned 30 times that in one night. People talk about winners and losers, like Jake Paul won and Mike Tyson lost.
After his victory over Mike Tyson, Jake Paul spoke confidently about his performance, stating, "I didn't get hit much or hurt." The remark reflected his belief that he controlled the fight with minimal resistance. Supporters hailed the comment as evidence of his skill and readiness to face legendary opponents. Critics, however, questioned the lack of danger and intensity, arguing that Tyson appeared subdued and raising doubts about whether the contest truly reflected a fair and competitive bout.
Bang, big as a Super Bowl. Big as a Super Bowl.
Big as the what?
Why was Mike wearing assless chaps though? In the
did that moment go viral with his cheeks out?
I don't know. It made my stomach hurt. Though.
I was seeing it
Why didn't he
while
have
I was
underwear
ringside. He had a G-string on, is what he had.
Almost.
I thought he was completely butt naked.
Nah, he looked like a stripper.
But yeah, biggest live gate, 18.1 millions in U.S. boxing history outside of Las Vegas. A phenomenal night. I'm sorry I didn't knock him out, though, guys.
Shut the fuck up. It was crazy when we talked about this. I told him you're going to say some dumb shit. You did the right thing at the end. You bowed. You kept it classy.
The recent fight against Anthony Joshua has drawn similar criticism. Many commentators called the matchup absurd, pointing to the vast gap in experience, size, and pedigree between the two fighters. A YouTuber-turned-boxer with a 12-1 record facing a former two-time heavyweight world champion who has competed against elite opposition led some to label the event more spectacle than sport. Critics described the pairing as lopsided, with Paul viewed by some as a cash-grab opponent rather than a legitimate challenge, further fueling speculation about the true intent behind the bout.
Jake Paul, fake Paul I call him, against Anthony Joshua. Massive unit, two-time world champ, still got a big punch. I think he's mentally fragile at world level if he goes against the big guns because of the knockout, especially the Bois knockout when he got fucking splattered. You know what I mean? In round 5, and he got hurt early on, and then he got done. And he's not been in the ring for 13 months.
Yeah.
But can you see a world in which Jake Paul is competitive in this fight?
No.
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 How do you see the fight going if AJ takes it serious?
It'll be over when he wants it to be over.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, Jake Paul enters the fight with a level of confidence that has surprised even seasoned observers. Recent commentary notes that he projects a strong belief in his ability to meet the challenge and secure victory. Unlike some past matchups, Paul appears intensely focused and determined. Analysts tracking his preparation say his mindset is central, reflecting both physical readiness and mental resolve. Rather than underestimating the task of facing a former heavyweight champion, Paul seems to be embracing the moment as an opportunity to prove himself on the world stage.
He's very big. I'm here to shock the world, inspire the next generation. We're in the Heat arena. I'm a big Heat fan. Miami's on fire. This is my first pro fight, was in Miami against Gibb. I'm bringing that same energy here. First round KO.
Jake Paul's growing confidence has also drawn skepticism from seasoned analysts. Critics argue that believing he can truly challenge a fighter like Anthony Joshua is unrealistic. Joshua is a decorated heavyweight with years of elite experience, championship bouts, and proven endurance Paul has never faced. Some observers have raised questions about Paul's physical development and performance, fueling speculation, though no evidence has been established.
Is Jake Paul natural? No. I can say that with pretty certain confidence in that statement, mainly because, as you heard me mention, I know a lot of the people he trains with and I have heard things. Now let's give Jake the benefit of the doubt, right? He's able to restrain from the peer pressure that everyone's putting on him to hop on these certain compounds. Then that would be cool to train natural, do what he needs to do. But the thing is, his body composition has changed so much, his explosiveness, his power, and yes, that comes with training and time. But I find it very, very suspicious that for some reason, whenever a drug test gets brought up, for instance, when Fury wanted that in the contract, Jake Paul turns them down. So you should think to yourself, it's probably because he's not natural. Now I want to make it clear, I don't care whether Jake Paul is natural or not. There's so many people that aren't natural that are in combat sports. In fact, Tyron Woodley probably is also not natural. Everyone wants that little edge over their competition, and that's where drugs and anabolics come into play. There's certain compounds that are out there that just increase your explosiveness immensely, your recovery, so that you can stay in the same weight class, which is very important for combat sports, whether that's boxing, UFC, whatever type of combat sport you're doing. So that is why you guys have seen so much improvement from Jake Paul. Of course, he has a great circle around him, great trainers, great coaches, a great regimen. but definitely anabolics play a very fundamental role in that. They allow him to train as hard as he does. They allow him to increase his power and speed. And of course, when you think of those concepts, that's essentially the recipe to win in a combat sport.
Despite the controversy, real money is being wagered on the fight. The betting action has become part of the debate surrounding Paul versus Joshua, with fans, casual bettors, and even notable figures placing wagers. The surge in betting only intensifies questions about whether the matchup is a legitimate sporting contest or a carefully packaged spectacle.